nobody there. Sky is falling, metal rain, chaos mornings, no one's sane. Crumbling towers, streets in flames, forgotten heroes, who knows their names. Broken future, shattered dreams, and
Hello friends, this is Sam Cheney reporting for Weaponized News. Today, it's April 29th, 2025. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday edition of Weaponized News. Well, we're at 100 days of Trump. A lot of propaganda. We'll go through some of it. Of course, the administration is praising him. Where are we at? Where are we really at, though? We're in a trade war with China. Can't seem to get a peace deal made in Ukraine-Russia war. We're in an undeclared illegal foreign war in Yemen. Aardvark genocide continues. So I don't know, where are we at? Are we going to have empty store shelves? I don't know. That's what they're floating out there in your fake news. Maybe it'll be true. I don't know. The Trump administration says they're bringing all of these different countries to negotiate new trade deals. I don't know. The big dog China, though, they seem indifferent about the whole situation, saying they don't care. They don't need us. They don't care. Is that true? I don't know. There's a back and forth. Are they even negotiating? China says no. Trump administration says yes. A lot of nonsense going on for sure. So all of that, the first 100 days to cover. What's going on with the economy? We got Canada elected the Liberal Party again. They love the international bankers in Canada. We have a new section of the show, segment, Canada Corner, from unpaid co-producer Barry, who said he may or may not. Oh, he made it. Barry's here. So we're going to go over that. Give you a Canada breakdown about what all transpired there. Apparently Canada loves international bankers. Who knew? Who knew? We love, in America, reality TV show hosts. So, who knew? Who knew? This crazy story, yeah, we'll cover it in the Canada section. What else do we got today for you? A little bit of public health news. Kind of crazy. What causes ALS? I don't know. They say it's like genetic. Is it? Lou Gehrig's disease. Why did they change the name from ALS to Lou Gehrig's disease? And why does it seem like a lot more people have it nowadays? One poor soul that has ALS took the chip, the Elon Musk brain chip, and I don't know. You feel bad that somebody's disabled like that, and it's probably helping him. He says it's helping him. We got video of it, but are they going to force this chip on the rest of us? I don't want to take the chip. You guys want to take the chip? I don't want to be a cyborg hooked up to Neuralink. This guy is. We'll play that report. And so they always roll it out in a very sympathetic, tragic story and say, look, this guy took it. He took the brain chip. And now he's typing with his brain because he's nonverbal. So that's good for that guy, right? And then so they make us sympathetic to the brain chip technology. So we'll play that report. What do we got? We still don't know. They've been saying if they don't They is in the White House, and old little Marco, the State Department. They've been saying if we don't get a Ukraine-Russia peace deal, we're just going to walk away. We're waiting. I don't know. They said that. They said we'll walk away in 3 days, like 2 weeks ago. We're still trying to negotiate. We need to negotiate. Honestly, it's none of our business, but apparently we've made it our business. So, I don't know. Still back and forth. We reported yesterday, Putin said he'll do a temporary ceasefire. Again, the State Department says if there's no progress in Ukraine-Russia peace talks, the United States will step back. We're waiting. We're waiting to step back. It ain't none of our freaking business. Anyhow. Yeah, and we're still bombing the hell out of Yemen, and literally nobody seems to notice, nobody seems to care. But CENTCOM's proudly posting propaganda. We're on a 24/7 bombing mission against the Houthis in Yemen. It's quite something, and just nobody in America even cares. I'll probably always be beside myself. I know why, and I shouldn't be shocked and beside myself, but I still am. I'm like, I cannot believe this, that literally no one freaking cares. We're bombing the hell out of a country right now. Oh, Trump, USA, it's the greatest thing ever. Really? He's a peacetime president. More about, we got a little report here from connecting up the UK and Aardvark connection there. Again, as we keep reiterating here, that it's all fun to hate the Aardvarks all day, which is being pushed majorly on the interwebs as a setup, I believe, for to take away our rights in the future. They'll say, look at all these bigots. Look at them. And they're just pumping out hate against Aardvarks. And they're like, something has to be done. And so there you go. Something will be done. All of our freedoms will be taken away because of this PSYOP. So that's coming. Better believe it. What else do we got today? Oh, there's quietly emitting here. What is it? Aardvark channel 13 reveals Biden officials privately admitted they never seriously pushed Aardvark land to halt its 19-month assault on Gaza. But I thought they just called him Genocide Joe for, But yeah, there's a big old report about it. All the lies. We'll go over that if we have time. Lindsey Graham, how's this guy? How's he still in office? Who the hell in South Carolina is voting for this guy to be their senator? That should be proof right there. It's all fake. But all of them. Who is really voting for these clowns? Lindsey Graham says Aardvark land has won the war on the ground. Well, yeah, you fought some guys that have freaking, what do they got, AKs maybe? I don't know. And you got freaking the most advanced weapons in the world. Yeah. So he says, Aardvark land has won the war on the ground, but they've lost it on television. Really? IDF troops are posting what are essentially snuff films, assassinations, murders all over the interwebs all day, 24/7. But it was the bad television propaganda against Aardvark land, right? According to Lindsey Graham. And a little bit more about Aardvark land news. Okay, let's get to, I know everybody's waiting for that first 100 days propaganda, right? I know it. I know you guys love it as I do. Try not to throw up during this. Okay, on to this day in history. On this day of April 29th, going back to the year 1661, the Chinese Ming Dynasty occupies Taiwan. They've been fighting over that for a long time now, haven't they? In 1813, the first U.S. rubber patent was granted to Jacob F. Hummel. In 1852, the first edition of Peter Roget's Thesaurus is published in Britain and has never been out of print since. Talk about, that's a hell of a long run to never be out of print for a book. This is Thesaurus. In 1872, the Jesse James gang robs a bank for $1,500 in Columbia, Kentucky, killing one employee during the robbery. In 1886, the first public Dutch electricity service begins. 1886. And then, turns out, this is a true story, Hacksaw Ridge. In 1945, conscientious objector Desmond Doss saves 75 wounded soldiers in the Battle of Okinawa at Hacksaw Ridge, later depicted in an Oscar award-winning film, Hacksaw Ridge. That's quite a feat there that Desmond Doss achieved, saving 75 wounded soldiers. And moving forward here to the fall of Saigon. The fall of Saigon. The United States begins to evacuate its citizens from Saigon in Operation Frequent Wind in response to advancing North Vietnamese forces, bringing an end to U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War. Kind of a big deal. And this famous photo, let's just put it on the screen there. This infamous photo of all the Americans trying to evacuate. Crazy, crazy times. Moving on, in 1986, on this day, 800,000 books destroyed by fire in Los Angeles Central Library. And so those were conspiracy theory books, obviously, that needed to be burned. And so they were in Los Angeles in 1986. In 1991, this was quite horrific. I wasn't aware it was this bad. In 1991, on this day, a cyclone strikes the Chittagong district in Bangladesh, killing 139,000 people. A cyclone killing 139,000 people. That's a lot of people. Got to do something about climate change, global warming, global cooling, extreme weather. Something must be done. And that cyclone also left over 10 million people in Bangladesh homeless. That's quite a horrific tragedy right there. And in 1992, we saw the Rodney King riots kick off. And we do love our riots here in America. In 1992, a jury acquits Los Angeles Police Department officers on charges of excessive force in the beating of Rodney King. The decision sparks massive riots across the city. We do love our riots in America, that's for sure. All right, let's go ahead and what shall our segue be today? I had a bunch of different segues. We'll do 2 segues, right? 3 segues? No. These are short. Here's the White House. Told you we're going to be a lot of propaganda from the White House today. 100 photos in 100 days. They blast through them here.
Today officially marks 100 days of promises made and promises kept by President Trump. This has truly been the most historic start to a presidency in American history. The American people trust in President Trump. As President Trump has said before, the best is yet to come.
That was fast. Is the best yet to come? We're still waiting. You have another one? Nah, that's it. All right, we got a bunch of videos from him. So Trump's doing a rally. I think it may still be going on or just wrapped up, celebrating the first 100 days. Whoop-de-frickin-do. He says, well, I'll play this clip too. This is from the rally they just had celebrating his first 100 days. Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. He says, in the coming weeks and months, we will pass the largest tax cuts in American history. And that will include no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, and no tax on overtime. It's called the One Big Beautiful Bill. You don't even need to hear him say it. I just quoted you. So we'll pass on that. Really? Oh yeah, by the way, it is International Dance Day as well. And so that will be a segue for the Trump dance, which has turned into somewhat of an international phenomenon. Trigger warning. You guys may just throw up today. Here's probably the best photo of the whole first 100 days. There you go. We love it, right? We love it. Speaker Johnson, Speaker of the House, Republican. Let's play his video he posted. Every department, every Republican basically has a propaganda video about how wonderful it all is. Abolish the entire friggin' government. It's a giant crime syndicate. I know that's wishful thinking, but we can still put the idea out there in the universe, and maybe this wish that we wish for would come true.
100 days ago, President Trump stood under the Capitol Rotunda and promised to deliver the America First agenda and usher in America's new golden age. From day one, he started doing it. And we've seen nothing but swift and decisive action from the president. It's been 100 secure border, safer communities, strength on the world stage, historic investments in American manufacturing, a return to common sense, and a more efficient, effective government. The Americans have given the President, the House, and the Senate a sweeping mandate for bold change. And together with President Trump and the White House, we are delivering for the American people. America is back. And we're just getting started.
Really? What has Congress done? They went on vacation. They've been on vacation a couple of weeks already. What have they done? They passed the Lincoln-Riley Act. Like, what have they done of any significance? They should be passing, as we covered yesterday, all these, they care so much about law and order. They should be passing the laws or enforcing the ones on the books now. So Trump doesn't have to sign all these executive orders and be thrown out the window the next guy that comes through, guy or gal. You know what I'm saying? Here is from the Department of Interior. Let's see their propaganda video about the first 100 days. Secretary Burgum here.
President Trump, he understands like no other leader that national security means energy security, and prosperity for America means having affordable energy.
We have U.S. energy dominance. It builds American prosperity and it brings peace abroad.
There's over 6,000 patriotic American workers on site today building the best of America. The Biden administration was restricting supply. You're increasing supply. When you increase supply, then prices start to come down. And we have a huge opportunity to do this. You ended the war on beautiful clean coal, which has been going on since Obama took office. The Gulf of America had its first offshore lease sale. The Gulf of America is now open for business again. Thanks for investing in this industry. I know when you're doing it for your families. You care about your communities, you care about your kids and your grandkids, and you care about the future of this country.
Interior Secretary Doug Burgum officially transfers federal land along the southern border. This move will allow the military to detain illegal migrants who trespass onto the property.
In naming this incredible wildlife refuge in her honor, we offer to establish a permanent place of hope, a place where Jocelyn's name will live on with dignity and peace.
Awesome, right? Department of Energy.
Donald Trump is selecting Chris Wright to be his energy secretary. That is an important position.
The Trump agenda promises to make American energy both accessible and abundant.
The man in charge of all of this is Chris Wright. He is our new U.S. Secretary of Energy.
Wright is a strong defender of President Trump's plan to unleash American energy.
I believe President Trump was elected to bring back common sense and make energy thrive, unleash American energy.
We have things happening with energy that will knock your socks off.
The society that has the lowest cost, most secure, most reliable energy system, has the best quality of life for its citizens, the greatest competitive advantages for its businesses. That's a society ready to thrive. And today, the United States is by far the biggest producer of oil and natural gas. But under President Trump, we will make full use of these tremendous advantages and, in fact, expand them tremendously.
Drill, baby, drill.
They keep saying it. Have we even seen anything happen? I don't think we've even seen anything happen. I don't know. Maybe we missed it. We reported the propaganda, the pronouncements. Here's old Lee Zeldin, probably doing the most, in all honesty, rolling back all this climate change regulation. That was a major piece of the whole, one world government agenda. So rolling that back is pretty big. Let's hear from EPA Secretary Lee Zeldin.
You've been in office for a little under 100 days, but what would you say is your biggest accomplishment at the EPA?
Well, listen, on the environmental front, I would look at the Los Angeles wildfires. The president gave us 30 days to remove our hazardous materials before the Army Corps came in for debris. Last week I was in San Diego where we're working hard to end the sewage coming in from Mexico into the Tijuana River and into the United States. There were new standards on water quality in the Delaware River Basin. On another front, because I believe that we can both protect the environment and grow the economy, we announced on March 12th what amounts to the largest deregulatory action in the history of the country, trillions of dollars of regulatory relief coming that will bring down the cost of living. There's actually more deregulation inside of one agency than entire governments across all agencies of entire presidencies when you look back in history. So we have a lot of a mess that was inherited. We have a lot to fix, and we're doing it. And then lastly, I would point out the amount of waste that we've been able to tackle. The annual operating budget for EPA is about $10 billion. I've already canceled about $22 billion worth of grants and contracts, and that is just in the first 100 days. There's that much money that was getting spent to left-wing activist groups without proper accountability, with self-dealing and conflicts of interest, unqualified recipients. We're getting after all of it.
Honestly, I think the EPA is doing the most. They say here, Chris Wright, Energy Secretary, revived domestic drilling and production, accelerated LNG exports, greenlit next-gen nuclear innovation, cut red tape that held back American energy jobs, lowered energy prices. Maybe it's just me in California, but they're killing us over here with the energy in California. Okay. Did dog killer woman, old brunette Barbie photo ham, isn't that what you call it when you're always in the photo, getting photo ops, a ham? Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem. 100 days of making America safe again. The government can't and won't keep you safe. You better know that. She says, it's an article on the X. President Trump said from the start, criminal illegals have no place in our homeland. He is keeping his promises. His promise. Not really. What did we say? 130,000 deported, 150 maybe at the outside stretch there. Promises made, promises kept. Thanks to President Trump, we have the most secure border in American history. I guess that's true, maybe. That they did stop the flow of illegal aliens just walking across the border. Trump reinstated remain in Mexico and ended catch and release. Daily border encounters have plunged 95%. Says Trump, Noem, and Kennedy have reunited nearly 5,000 unaccompanied children with a safe relative or guardian. Migrants are turning back before they even reach our border. Migration through Panama's Darien Gap is down 99.99%. Trump is finishing the border wall. And we reported on that yesterday, 85 miles of new construction. Again, is this wall to keep invaders out or to keep us in, or both? Customs and Border Patrol have seized nearly 232,000 pounds of fentanyl and other illicit drugs. Well, the government ships in the large majority of the drugs, so there's that as well to consider that they will never admit to, but it is pretty much admitted to at this point. Trump is fulfilling his promises to carry out mass deportations. He's not, though. We're waiting. He's not, and we're waiting. Now they bumped it up to 158,000. Okay, we'll even take that number. Still nowhere near the pace that it needs to be to deport, what, 20 million? I think that's the number that old Vance was saying. It's probably more than that even. I'm sure it's more than that. So yeah, they did publicity, sent some of the violent criminals and members of terrorist gangs to Guantanamo Bay. Nearly 300 Trinidad and MS-13. They call them terrorists, I guess because they're designated a terror group now. They were sent to the Supermax there in El Salvador. That's nothing nice for sure. Multi-million-dollar nationwide and international ad campaign. That's what I'm talking about. Big time propaganda about how great it all is. But again, not nearly at the pace that it needs to be to really clean up the illegal immigration in America. This, as we've reported on extensively, ended the CBP One app and reinstated it, repurposed it as a new self-deportation app. Is anybody really going to fall for that? I don't know. I don't know. They keep warning them. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Implementing fines and imprisonment. Deportations have already exceeded 142,000. This is just the beginning. Well, you're way behind in 100 days. Can tell you that. Okay, so what has Congress done? They passed the Lincoln-Riley Act. which mandates the federal detention of illegal aliens accused of theft, burglary, assaulting a law enforcement officer, or any crime resulting in death or serious bodily injury. We needed a law for that, right? Isn't all that stuff already against the law? You know what I mean? It's a bunch of propaganda and BS. What has Congress done? Literally nothing. Went on vacation when we're bombing the hell out of countries illegally. Trump has designated MS-13, Trendeagra as terrorist organizations. Whoop-de-friggin-do. I guess you can takes away all their rights. So there you go. We do love our tyranny here. Wrapped in the American flag, that's for sure. Trump administration has secured extradition of 29 Mexican drug cartel members with ties to U.S. intelligence. I made that part up, but yeah, you better believe it. The Trump administration extradited this guy. Is this the guy they're making? Oh, an illegal alien arrested for killing 21-year-old Sarah Root in drunk driving crash from Honduras. It's tragic. Trump reopened the Victims of Immigration Crime Enforcement Office. I thought we were shrinking the size of government. Voice. Victims of Immigration Crime Engagement. Huh. Didn't even know such a thing existed. Now we do. President Trump is restoring integrity and common sense to our legal immigration system. Every executive order he has signed has been challenged in court. Broad abuse of humanitarian parole. He's ended it. As part of this effort, NOM terminated the Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuelan parole programs. We reported on that at the time. Trump restored integrity to our immigration system by returning the temporary protect status immigration program to its original status, temporary, revoking visas for terrorist sympathizers. Yeah, that's who they disagree with politically about war protests, essentially. Well, you're all Hamas terrorists. To keep Americans safe, DHS is conducting enhanced vetting of visa applicants, including monitoring foreign alien social media accounts to identify any support for terrorist organizations. President Trump is using tariffs as a negotiating tool to force other countries to take decisive action that puts American safety, prosperity, and national interests first. Reciprocal tariffs, gravely impacting our national security. Yeah, they did. They shipped globalization, shipped all the jobs overseas and our industrial production capacity. Trump's tariffs forced Mexico to deploy 10,000 troops on our southern border to stop the flow of fentanyl and illegal aliens into our country, and Canada to add thousands of personnel to the northern border. We love that 33 they're signaling right here. Under President Trump, NOM refocused Department of Homeland Security to its core mission of protecting the American homeland and eliminating government waste. Well, abolish yourselves then. Retire and go home. So the USCG eliminated an ineffective IT program, saving nearly $33 million, Ruckus. If you're out there listening, $33 million. The Trump administration stopped aliens on the terror watch list from receiving Medicaid benefits. NOM ended the Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities FEMA grant program. That was also called BRIC. They stopped policies that were magnets for illegal immigration. DHS froze all funding to non-governmental organizations that facilitate illegal immigration and announced a partnership with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, to ensure taxpayer dollars do not go to housing illegal aliens. NOM ended collective bargaining for the TSA, abolished the TSA as well. Bottom line, Trump campaigned on border security and immigration enforcement. The American people voted for it, and NOM and DHS are delivering beyond anyone's expectations. Not really. Sorry. Not really. This is just the beginning of a new golden age of America. First 100 days at veterans, at the VA, Veterans Affairs, notoriously abusive toward our veterans, notoriously hard to get any type of care, to get the right type of classification, to get the right medical treatment. We got like 20 some odd vets committing suicide a day. So you could say the VA is a complete and utter failure. Let's read through this. Is a lot quicker than the long DHS, who should resign and abolish themselves. The first 100 days at the VA, putting veterans first, providing veterans the healthcare choices they were promised under the Mission Act, taking thousands of employees off of remote work and bringing them back to the office where they can work as a team to better serve veterans, phasing out treatment for gender dysphoria, and directing all savings to helping paralyzed veterans and amputees. You know what else could help them? Stop going to war and getting them blowing up. That could also help. Processing record number of disability claims. That's horrific. You get disabled and they sit there and laugh and they're like, yeah, whatever, dude. Go, you know what I mean? Go get a freaking fix of fentanyl or whatever and shut up and die. You know what I mean? That's the VA. Accelerating the deployment of VA's electronic health record system after the program was nearly dormant for almost 2 years under the Biden administration. I'm sure Palantir can help profile all of these vets to further decommission them. Ended DEI at the department, stopping more than $14 million in wasteful DEI spending, redirecting hundreds of millions of dollars from non-mission critical efforts to healthcare benefits and services that directly support VA beneficiaries. Stop sending our troops to get blown up. How about that idea? I know, it's shocking. Here's the propaganda from Department of Education Secretary Linda McMahon with a big elbow for your education. Off the top ropes into your throat.
In his first 100 days, the President has made education a cornerstone of his agenda.
Today we take a very historic action to begin eliminating the Federal Department of Education. 70% of 8th graders are not proficient in either reading or in math. 40% of 4th graders lack even basic reading skills.
That's a clear indicator that we are not doing the best thing we can do for our students. We cannot be last in the world in education, because we are impacting our national security. We are impacting those next second and third generations that are coming along. It is up to us and our responsibility to make sure we are giving them the best access to education. We need to teach math and English and literacy and writing. We don't need to teach ideology. One of the things that President Trump has been so decisive about is making sure that DEI is stripped out of education.
It's simple. This administration believes in merit. President Trump has been a fierce fighter for female athletes' safety and right to compete fairly, and we will continue to fight vigorously to protect all civil rights.
He's absolutely not going to allow federal funds to be going to these universities that continue to allow anti-Semitism on its campus.
The American people gave us an historic mandate to restore our education system. When we walk out of these doors for the last time, I hope states are better equipped, parents feel more empowered, and students are prepared to be successful in life, whatever that looks like for them. We're 100 days in, and we're just getting started.
I thought we were didn't they say, they announced that Trump announced we're abolishing the Department of Education. They're still here. I don't know. Call me crazy, man. I remember reporting on it. It was a headline, and we had Trump saying it, yet there they are still. HUD. Got to keep an eye on HUD. They're going to make a move, potentially. Trump's talked about it before. Quote, freedom cities, which are your 15-minute smart cities, total high-tech control grid. 100 days of HUD under President Trump. HUD is carrying out President Trump's mission to streamline the federal government. Well, resign and close it all up. In accordance with this mission, we launched a new streamlined HUD website that consolidated over 8,000 web pages and saves taxpayers $400,000 annually. Whoop-de-frickin-do. Whoop-de-doo. There you go. How about abolish HUD? The big one, the sad one, HHS. It's been 100 days, Bobby Kennedy Jr. You got your JFK files. You got your dad, your uncle, RFK, and JFK files released. Still got miracles coming out of our ears over here, man. What'd they do? They banned dye. They banned food dye. I don't know. We got video of them today talking about doing something about the jet fuel pollution. But yeah, I don't know. We're really going to sit here and go, we don't know what's causing all this 1 in 31 cases of autism. Well, we got to do a big study about it. Really? So we're still waiting. MAHA, Make America Healthy Again, is still waiting there for the conspiracy theorist and ex-heroin addict Bobby Kennedy Jr. to do something about these miracles. Still waiting. Am I going to be the skeleton on my keyboard meme again? Still waiting. Probably. This is from Carrie. It's an older story, but she tagged me on it, so I thought I would pull it up. I don't know if we did report on this. DOGE. This is back from March 2nd when we were getting the big DOGE propaganda push. DOGE deletes agency behind login.gov, IRS direct file, and other tech projects. Yeah, they're clearing it all out to streamline it for Palantir. I mean, and their AI. And so all the other softwares have got to go. So yeah. I can't remember if we reported on that or not. We might have. We reported so much on DOGE. And it just goes to show, I know I talked about it. I know I keep talking about it, but Barry says that old Bobby Kennedy has shut down FOIA requests as per evidence I just found moments ago. from his friend, from our friend, Christina Massey. Well, he's trying to be transparent about everything that they're doing there, Barry. They understand how this works. So what happened yesterday? Will we ever know with the big outage? That was the first 100 days. There was more, but I know you guys want to throw it. Karen was throwing up. She had a bucket I saw next to her. So we're done with the first 100 days. And there's plenty more propaganda from the government about it if you're interested on the interwebs. Make no mistake. So yeah, 100 days. Honestly, in my own life, I don't think much changed. Inflation's still going up. Everything costs a hell of a lot. And I'm talking about just groceries. And I shop at the friggin' discount grocery store, grocery outlet. And it's even expensive there. And you go to the mainstream, like Vaughn's or something, Safeway. These are like mainstream here, that sell you all the GMOs. Anyway, you go to one of them and it just knocks your socks off how much stuff costs. So inflation's still a thing. It's hard to judge though here in California though. It's insane here what the California state government is doing. It's literally insane. An alarm go off in the background. Excuse me. So yeah, I don't know. Not much really changed. Inflation, it's not good. I don't know. That's about it. I guess they closed the border. And what else? A lot of promises, a lot of big promises. Congress literally has done nothing. Congress has wasted the first 100 days with Republican majority control of Senate, House, executive, passed one law. That's work. You know what I mean? That we already probably could have just enforced the law on the books, all for propaganda, for political theater. Power mostly restored as Spain and Portugal grapple with fallout over massive outage. And so will we ever know? It always feels like anytime there's a crisis, the government will never let a good crisis go to waste, and they're going to spin it some kind of way to take away our freedom. So I ran a poll yesterday on the X. Let's see if we had 200 people saw it. So we had 34 votes. We'll just put it on the screen. What caused the European blackout? Everyone I don't like got 20%. Cyber attack got 23%. Climate change got 0%. And government got 55.9%. But you see people's comments, renewable energy, to me that goes under climate change. Slightly cloudy weather, they're talking about the renewable energy. To me that goes under climate change again. I like this guy's comment. He said, I blame Putin, or they will blame Putin. Well, probably Putin did have something to do with it. And then dimming the sun. Well, all that to me falls under climate change, but I guess it was a little too niche for that. So it looks like, honestly, according to the comments, that it was climate change or government. Take your pick. So power mostly is restored there in Spain and Portugal. And well, the International Energy Agency, IEA, says the world must add or replace 80 million kilometers of grid by 2040 to meet climate targets and support energy security. Are we going to meet that? I have a sneaking suspicion we're not. Call me skeptical, but I don't think that we will meet this goal set forth by the International Energy Agency. Let's just rename it to climate. Yeah, climate effery, indeed. Okay, Barry, I see you on there. It's time for Canada's Corner. Is that what we're calling it? Canada's Corner. Canada's Corner. Shout out to Barry, our unpaid co-producer here on Weaponized News. And so, yeah, what do we do? What do we do about Canada? I'm still I want that movie Canadian Bacon. I'm still scared that you guys may invade us from the north. Let's put this one up. This should make you. This should thrill everybody in Canada. And we'll put this up there. There you go. Liberal government. So I guess international bankers from the Bank of England and Goldman Sachs are liberal, apparently. So very celebratory indeed in Canada, with Mark Carney's Liberal Party declared the winner of last night's election. So it turns out Canada loves tyranny. Or is it all rigged? I don't know. There was a guy, was that video real? I don't know. Like who knows? But on face value, Canada loves tyranny, at least. They love the international bankers, the World Economic Forum, and outside entities penetrating their cabinets, as Klaus Schwab has told us. Let's go. Ola, the alleged conservative frontrunner, Pierre Poilievre, he lost his own seat in the Canada election. So, yeah, right-wing populists are taking over and the globalists have been defeated. That's what Alex Jones tells us. Sure don't look like it. Sure, I wish that was true. I'm high up on patriot hopium, but that's simply not the case here. As example number one, results of Canada's election yesterday. Let's go to let's get a little inside narrative from Barry here, a man in the underneath the tyranny. He sent me an email. I will read it to you. He says, Canada 2025 results, 172 seats, as he said yesterday in the chat, that is Barry, were needed for a majority. So if the Liberals have 168 seats and the NDP as third party have 7, then they could again form a coalition as they have for the last few years and prop up this minority government once again. And both of those parties are super left-leaning, commie, government-loving types. The best, right? Here's can we get that? Well, he sent me some screenshots for graphics. Let's see. Yeah, we'll throw this up there. You can get an idea about the different parties, their heads, and how many votes they got. You can see right here. You can see the Liberals got 168. The Conservatives got 144. These guys block Quebecos got 23. The New Democrats got 7, and the Greens got 1. Sadly, the woman we interviewed, Jody Ledgerwood, finished 6 out of 7 candidates, got 263 votes. A noble and valiant effort, but it seems that fell short. Conservatives of major note, Pierre P., the Collins leader, lost his own riding after being elected for a long time there. He lost by 4,000 votes. It was fairly big news all night. Yeah, we just covered that. He trailed the entire night. The conservatives camp is slightly split on what to do with him, but he will likely remain as leader, though he lost his longtime seat of 20 years. Well, hell yeah, keep him in there. Maybe he can lose the next time too. So that's kind of big news. The NDP party, New Democrats, the third major party and the one of third party status propped up the liberal Trudeau government the last few years, lost a ton of seats, and now does not even have official party status. Well, that's sad. And their Qawmi leader, Jagmeet Singh, lost his own riding by a huge landslide. Well, maybe Canada's not as bad off as I first thought. It's very complicated here to understand Canadian politics. Some votes are still being counted. Well, in California, we count them for 30 days. So maybe if you keep counting, then somebody else could win. You know what I mean? Pull a ballot box of mail-in ballots out of your trunk, Barry, and walk in there and say, look, we won. We won. Think that would work? No, you'd probably get arrested. So there's Barry's report about it. Thank you very much for. We still have more about Canadian Corner. American betrayal. New Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney torches Trump in victory speech. I can't take much of this guy either, but we'll watch a short bit of it. The crowd chanting his name. They like, this guy's an international banker, for crying out loud. He's a great hero of the people, don't you know?
That is Nepean. That is the spirit of Nepean behind me right there. Thank you. Bonsoir tout le monde. Bonsoir. Oh, quel bonsoir. C'est une bonne bonsoir. I have a question. Who's ready? Who's ready? Who's ready to stand up for Canada with me? And who's ready? Who's ready to build Canada strong? Okay.
I don't know why it froze there. I guess I got to work on my speech, my French here, Barry, right? I already forgot what he said. Anyway. There it is. Make Canada strong. Carney vows to govern for all Canadians after winning election upended by Trump. If that was true, he'd resign, wouldn't he? And hasta la vista, baby. Hasta la vie, baby. Okay, a little satire to wrap up Canadian Corner. U.S. to invade Canada to establish democracy. Out of Babylon B. Yeah. Is it even really satire or that far from the truth? We may invade Canada and claim it's to establish democracy. This story is quite tragic and horrific, actually. The state of Michigan, bordering Canada, has decided the best way to get rid of their growing geese population is to gas them to death. That's right, you heard that right. The state's new pilot program that will allow Canadian geese to be rounded up into cages and gassed to death. So that's very humane, coming out of Gretchen Whitmer's state of Michigan. Very humane treatment of Canadian geese, Barry. These are the maniacs that we have in control here in America. Let's watch this report about gassing Canadian geese.
Hey, give us your 2 cents on this story. It's all systems go for a controversial new program in Michigan aimed at bringing down the Canada goose population. As the state prepares to round up and gas the geese to death, animal rights groups are calling foul over this and demanding answers.
Which is it, public health or convenient justification?
Michigan residents and animal welfare advocates are rallying against the state's new pilot program that will allow Canada geese to be rounded up into cages and gassed to death. The plan, beginning in June, was approved by the state's Department of Natural Resources in response to an overpopulation of geese. Golf courses, parks, and lake associations say they're a public health risk. But one animal welfare group argues that it's simply vanity and inconvenience driving their motives. In Defense of Animals said this in a statement: the public deserves a say in how Michigan's wildlife is managed. Yet these decisions are being left to a handful of lakefront homeowners who want geese exterminated for convenience. But the DNR says traditional methods of control, like hunting, scare devices, and egg and nest disruption, have failed to curb the geese population. They've even tried giving them a new home.
We found that this relocating of geese is really just unsustainable, and we were quite frankly just running out of suitable places to put them.
Then came the bird flu, and shortly after, the decision to euthanize the birds with carbon dioxide, an idea modeled after programs in other states like New York.
We didn't want to have this increased risk of moving Canada geese around the state and potentially increasing that transmission of the virus.
While animal rights advocates are upset, the guidelines show they're in the clear for the geese gassing program because the location first participated in the state's nest and egg destruction program and has at least 100 geese on property or an approved human health crisis. Now the sites will have to pay USDA crews to collect the geese in June and July when the birds are flightless and molting. And while the Michigan DNR says this program is a last resort option, anti-gassers worry about due diligence and just how humane the practice is.
They need to do like 2 or 3, methods. They can't just do one, do it for a day or a week and say, I tried.
Yeah, hard to wrap your head around and kind of hard to stomach this early in the morning. Michigan's Department of Natural Resources says the program won't take away opportunities from hunters. Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation.
Well, there you go. Anything for public health, even gassing innocent geese. We had a comment over there on the Facebook. Shout out to Joe. Joe says, why not eat them? Well, I don't know. They could have the bird flu that they got diagnosed with a fraud PCR test. So, I mean, you don't want the bird flu now, do you, Joe? Just the health department. We need... I can't even get into it now. Everybody knows. Everybody knows that watches this show. The health department are a bunch of maniacs, man. Just like what? You can't do anything better than kill the geese, really? Some brilliant minds there at the health department, indeed. Okay, here's a clip of Trump. He says that I'd like to be the Pope. Maybe we can make Trump the first American president Pope. Is he even Catholic? I don't think so. Who cares?
As Pope? I'd like to be Pope. That would be my #1 choice. No, I don't. I have no preference. I must say we have a cardinal that happens to be out of a place called New York, who's very good. So we'll see what happens.
Obviously, he was joshing halfway. Would they make Trump the Pope? Obviously not. But there is the conclave going on right now. We await who is the new Pope. There's all these doomsdayers on the interwebs saying that Pope Francis was going to be the last Pope and it was the end of the world and the apocalypse. Still waiting. Standing there with the sign, the end of days. I don't have the sign written, but you know what I'm saying. Homer Simpson, end of days, so on. The doomsdayers. Seems like they were wrong. How people will listen to their predictions in the future is beyond me, but I'm sure they will continue to make end of the world doomsday predictions, and people will listen somehow, some way. But obviously, Pope Francis's passing hasn't brought about the end of the world. Okay, on to the economy. When they say the last, Chloe says, my last comment didn't post. Wonder why did you do that, Sam? I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. The end is nigh. Yep. The end is nigh. Onto the economy. So is this good? They're acting like it's good. Merck to invest $1 billion in U.S. drug manufacturing plant. CBS reports here. Is this good? How about we get off the drugs? I thought that was Bobby Kennedy's whole thing. Get off MAHA, make America healthy again. So, really? How about we get off the drugs? Merck. But they cheered on how wonderful of an investment in America it is to build a giant drug manufacturing plant. Oh, the joy of health that Merck is going to bring to us here. This via Simon on X. I have to go troll Simon's feed now again to so I'm running out of news over here. They really have censored X like into it's useless now. It's basically Facebook a little bit. It's faster, but as far as news, I guess you have to do direct searches. I found a few workarounds, but nothing like it was. Okay, so Simon posted the failed tariff policy, the decision to give into China, and the complications in negotiations to end the war in Ukraine are some of the issues beginning to impact Trump's image negatively. I think I mentioned those at the beginning. Despite Trump's promised cuts, U.S. spent, see, we had the DOGE hype, the DOGE propaganda, rammed down our throat, the double-edged sword. Who doesn't want to cut government? Well, I guess a bunch of people that work for it that didn't even go to work, that were collecting fat paychecks, they didn't want to. But poor little me, Joe Blow taxpayer over here, I wanted it cut, right? It was red meat for the small government types like me. But then again, as we continue to report, it's a double-edged sword. You may get less people at the office, but you're not getting a smaller government. You're getting replaced by Palantir AI systems, and it will be the kill machine, the war machine here on you and me will be weaponized much more efficiently. So, but the spending, hey, Musk said we're going to cut $2 trillion from government spending, cut $150 billion. And so despite Trump's promised cuts, U.S. spent about $220 billion, that's more than the DOGE cuts, in the first 100 days than last year. Golf clap for that. So it's all just smoke and mirrors, hype, propaganda, lies. We're spending more now than we ever have before. So, yeah, there you go. For all the hype, for all the rah-rah, for all the Tesla firebombings, was it worth it? They literally have done nothing. They've done nothing except for, and the people protesting, Musk, Trump, they're not protesting for the right reasons. What we should really be concerned about, the scientific dictatorship technocracy coming into being, they're protesting, oh my God, you cut a government job. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, you got your priorities in order there. Very much so. So yeah, here's CBS. We'll put it on the screen. There we go. U.S. spent about 220 billion more in first 100 days than last year. Isn't that wonderful? Much more efficient than the Biden administration. Oh wait, never mind. Oh yeah, halftime. Let's take our live commercial break now. Thank you for reminding me, Barry. Appreciate that. Everybody go to weaponizednews.com. You can get some stickers there. The holograph sticker. Every day is Pride Day at Weaponized News with your rainbow holograph sticker there. You can see that. Then we have the white background sticker. And then we also have one, it's hard to show. I don't even know where it went. I have them in my inventory, but it's clear. So you can picture, instead of the white, it's clear, right? So you can put it on your laptop, your guitar, your bumper, possibly a Cybertruck for potential firebombing, victimhood. And you could say, well, they attacked me for my Weaponized News sticker. Pay me the millions. You know what I mean? So go to weaponizednews.com. Get your stickers over there at the shop or give us a donation. The donation button is right there. And if you're foreign, we've learned, as with Barry, he could not order directly through the store. So he had to give me a donation and tell me his address there in the Great White North. And I was able to send his stickers that way. So if you're international, simply give us a donation, or if you're feeling charitable, give us a donation. Here is the site. Let's throw that up there quickly. Weaponized News, donate button right there. Can't miss it. Or go to the store. We have a few books there. We're selling pet ID tags. And of course, the stickers are the easiest and the best way to spread the word about Weaponized News and support us. Now, a word from our sponsor, Abba Enterprises. And then we'll be back with more economic news, geopolitical news, and aardvark news to wrap up the last half of the show.
Running a small business feeling overwhelmed by numbers and paperwork? Abba Enterprises has your back. Our expert business solutions include accounting, QuickBooks support, payroll, taxes, and top-notch consulting. Let us handle the details so you can focus on growing your business. Business Solutions Accounting, QuickBooks, Consulting, Payroll, Taxes. Call 559-577-9250. Call Abba Enterprises today at 559-577-9250.
And welcome back to Weaponized News on this April 29th, 2025, Tuesday edition. Trump's first 100 days in the White House. Actually, a real letdown. A lot of propaganda, a lot of hype, a lot of hopium, not much action. I guess we did stop illegal immigration. The one job the federal government's actually supposed to do, they actually did their job. Golf clap. Hallelujah. Congratulations. The rest is smoke and mirrors, a bunch of hype, as far as I can tell. Okay. Still no one in the government. They arrested those corrupt judges, 2 of them. One former judge that were keeping illegals under the floorboards. What was that one? The one out of, where was it? Milwaukee was helped them evade authorities. And the other, what was it? New Mexico, I believe, retired judge and his wife were keeping essentially illegals in their floorboard. They were letting them live with them. I don't know what that whole weird thing is about. But like I said, I believe they're all part of these contraband trafficking networks of people, drugs, weapons, you name your contraband, and they're trafficking them. And I believe these judges are one of many, 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 many in our government involved in said contraband trafficking networks. around America. And so they made an example of these two jokers, but where's the rest? Where's the rest? Two judges in where's the rest of arrests of corrupt government workers? According to DOGE, all the stuff they put out, hey, we found fraud in every freaking agency. Everything we looked at, we found fraud. Hey, somebody's at the other end of that fraud getting the money. You guys can't track it and arrest these fraudsters? We haven't seen anything yet. But they got, what did they get? Remember they got those allegedly for espionage and then a couple leakers. Did they even arrest them or just fire them? I don't even know. But no one still for fraud, I don't think, that we've seen yet. It's for stealing taxpayer money. Pay your damn taxes. You know what I mean? So we wait. It looks like all just smoke and mirrors. All fake. It's certainly appearing to be that way now, isn't it? In 100 days, still no major arrests. Like entire agencies should have been arrested with as bad as DOGE said it all was. No one. They're allowed to resign with a fat benefit package, and payout is their punishment for all the fraud, waste, and abuse they perpetrated upon the American people. Wow. It really does pay to work for corrupt government, doesn't it? Okay, so there's big talk all over the news interwebs today about Amazon was going to put a line on its breakdown of the cost of items, line iteming out the tariff cost on you, the consumer, and how much that was going to impact the price of items you bought from Amazon. But now, after complaining from the White House, it's being reported, Trump complaining to Jeff Bezos, spaceman, that went on that fake space mission, or he didn't go on it, he paid for it and propped the whole thing up. Anyway, that Jeff Bezos has now pulled back the idea of itemizing a tariff line on your price for Amazon goods. So I guess we won't see that transparency from Amazon as was being reported, and jumping up and down mad Trump put a stop to. Trump complained to Bezos before Amazon said its scrapped idea to display tariff cost. That's CNBC reporting. I'll just put that up there on the screen. There you go. So I guess you won't know how much the tariffs are impacting the cost of goods you buy from Amazon. Now, will you? Nowhere to turn. Small businesses dependent on imports from China are feeling more desperate. Well, maybe get in a line of business that doesn't rely on imports from China. Just saying. Major orders canceled, containers of products left stranded overseas, no roadmap for what comes next. The Trump administration raised tariffs on goods from China to 145% in early April. Many cutouts, right? All of your electronics were cut out of that. A bunch of other stuff cut out of that. Picking winners and losers, but it's all for your own benefit, don't you worry. Since then, small business owners who depend on imports from China to survive have become increasingly desperate as they eye dwindling inventory and skyrocketing invoices. Well, I don't know. Are we going to see bare shelves? This report's out of the AP. They're hyping it everywhere. I don't know. It's always good to be prepared, though, right? We never know. Could be an act of God. Forget all the bad government stuff. There are still acts of God that do happen in our natural world here. So it's always good to, be a prepper, to have some have some supplies in case whatever happens out of our control that cuts off the supply chains. And, so you have some energy, some food, some water, the basics to get by. Never a bad idea. Okay. United States Trade Representative, 100 days into his second term, President Trump continues to deliver for the American workers and industry. This is propaganda, warning, coming right from the U.S. government. But they go on to say here, United States Trade Representative, official X account. They go on to say, liberating America from unfair and hostile trade practices, imposing a 10% global tariff to level the playing field for American workers, charging reciprocal tariffs on trade cheaters like China, bringing dozens of countries to the negotiating table, securing $5 trillion in new investments and trade commitments. Well, what the hell? We got $1 billion Merck factory. I don't know what else we could want. Here's the White House lists some of the $5 trillion in investment commitments.
The press is not talking nearly enough about the positive impact of President Trump's deregulation campaign. And investments from the biggest companies and countries in the world are pouring in under this president. So far, total investment commitments under the Trump administration have reached more than $5 trillion, including $500 billion from Apple in U.S.-based manufacturing and training, $500 billion from NVIDIA in AI infrastructure, $100 billion from TSMC and U.S.-based chips manufacturing, and the $500 billion private investment by OpenAI, Oracle, and SoftBank in AI infrastructure as well. All of these investment commitments are estimated to generate at least 451,000 new high-paying jobs for American workers and families. At this point, President Trump has secured more investments in the United States of America in 100 days than Joe Biden did in 4 years. President Trump is America's businessman in chief, and that's why these trillions of dollars in investments are flooding to our country. The business community is bullish on America because President Trump is back in charge. Tomorrow, the president will host CEOs and leaders from several companies that have made these investments to tout their historic commitments to our country and encourage others to follow suit. Under President Trump, there has never been a better time to invest in America.
Whoop-de-freaking-do. We got a new Merck factory. I mean, hell, I don't know what else you could want. Here's Denver posted the link, says that the AI needs to manage the government because it's totally rational and doesn't make mistakes, right? And then he posted a link about hallucinations written in AI court papers. Spelled trouble for lawyers. Well, it feels like we've been sold a bill of goods here now, doesn't it? It's just me. I'm all out of hopium. Sure does. More propaganda. This is right from the White House about the economy in the first 100 days. I don't know. Maybe I'm biased for being in California, but yeah, I don't see lower energy costs. I don't see lower grocery costs. I don't see jobs booming. I don't see any of this. But hey, maybe I'm just biased from California here.
Unrelenting economic warfare, the United States can no longer continue with a policy of unilateral economic surrender.
Donald Trump is about to do something in economics that's never been done in American history.
His goal is to actually punish anyone outside the country that's producing goods that America should be producing for itself. He's going to raise revenue for the government. He's going to protect American jobs. And you're going to see a lot of people say, look, America's open for business. Why would you not want to come here and build?
His game is, I'm making America first. I know how to do it. I've got the backbone to do it. No one else did it, and I'm going to get it done.
Trust in President Trump. He knows what he's doing. This is a proven economic formula.
We are finally putting America first.
Mortgage rates come down, inflation has come down, egg prices have come down. These are things you cannot ignore. You've seen trillions of dollars in investment. You've seen companies saying that they're going to expand operations here and nearly 250,000 new jobs.
Oil prices went down almost 15% in 2 days. Interest rates hit their low for the year.
We're celebrating the White House, a decline in the price level, a reduction in inflation.
Some incredible new numbers. This month, consumer prices, they actually dropped. This never once happened under Joe Biden.
Bringing inflation to 2.4% from the same time last year.
The Dow right now shooting up over 2,000 points. Look at that.
Energy costs now are down, groceries are down, gasoline is way under $3, and people are beginning to be able to buy things and live again.
This is the most aggressive effort at pro-American growth in American history.
That's right from the White House, hardcore propaganda. First 100 days of the economy. Yeah, I'm not even going to read the whole thing. I think we pretty much covered it. We can't trust any of the job numbers, regardless of Democrat or Republican. As we continue to report here, the job numbers are heavily misrepresented. The unemployment rate heavily misrepresented, not even counting people no longer looking for work, and other variables in the calculation. Extremely misleading. They always put out, oh, it's great numbers to pump the market. And then, oh, yeah, we quietly revise those numbers down again, don't we? Even on the rig numbers. So all of that is going on. The stupid egg prices. The White House says wholesale egg prices are down 50%. Really? Instead of gassing those Michigan geese, maybe capture them and start a goose egg farm. I don't know. Just saying. But blah, 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 blah. A bunch of BS economic data. Well, we saw they're still spending like drunken sailors. So there you go. As we race to $37 trillion in national debt. DOGE a big letdown. And so, again, bunch of hype and not much delivery, honestly, on any of this stuff. Okay, here's China's response to the tariffs and trade war. Let's watch this propaganda video from China. This is from China financial minister's spokesperson's official X account. So it's official Chinese state government propaganda right here.
Have you heard of the eye of the storm? It appears calm for a moment, but is actually a deadly trap. The calm before an even fiercer storm. The U.S. has stirred up a global tariff storm and deliberately targeted China, playing a 90-day pause game with other nations, forcing them to limit trade with China. This is just like the deadly trap of the eye of the storm. Bowing to a bully is like drinking poison to quench thirst. It only deepens the crisis. The U.S. once accused Japan of dumping semiconductors and crushed companies like Toshiba. Later, it forced Japan to sign the Plaza Accord, pushing the economy into decades of anemic growth. The U.S. also used long-arm jurisdiction as a weapon, breaking up France's industrial giant Alstom, robbing the country of a national champion. History has proven compromise won't earn you mercy. Kneeling only invites more bullying. China won't kneel down, because we know standing up for ourselves keeps the possibility of cooperation alive, while compromise snuffs it out. China won't back down, so the voices of the weak will be heard, bullying will be stopped, and justice will not disappear from the world. All bullies are just paper tigers. The U.S. does not represent the entire world. Its trade makes up less than a fifth of the world's total.
We have the power to push back.
When the rest of the world stands together in solidarity, the U.S. is just a small, stranded boat. Imperialists are always arrogant. If they show a bit of reason, it's only because they're forced to do so. Make no mistake, the US will keep flip-flopping and playing hardball. But China will stand firm. No matter how hard the wind blows, no matter how clouds rage. The darker the night, the brighter the stars shine. Someone has to step forward, torch in hand, to shatter the fog and illuminate the path ahead. When every nation stands tall, the world will break through the walls of hegemony. For China, for the world, we must rise and fight on.
There you go. China and Bezos are going to save us from Trump. Maybe? No, Bezos already backed down. What's this? What is the size of the Chinese economy and purchasing power parity compared to the United States and Europe? In 2025, based on purchasing power parity, PPP, China's GDP is estimated at approximately $35.29 trillion, surpassing the United States GDP of $28.78 trillion. Europe's GDP, European Union, 27 member states, is estimated around $21.99 trillion in terms of PPP, purchasing power parity. Thus, China's economy is about 1.23 times larger than the US economy and roughly 1.6 times larger than that of the EU. EU's economy when measured by PPP. These figures reflect adjustments for price level differences, giving a better sense of domestic purchasing power. Walmart. Everybody loves Walmart, right? It's an experience. I'll just say that. I'm trying to not go to Walmart. But anyway, Walmart expands support for American-made products. Well, wasn't that their whole thing when they first came into being here? I remember in California anyway. I guess they've been around regionally, but when they finally made it to California, it was like, wow, Walmart Supercenter, it's freaking awesome. Wally World. And at that time, I want to say early 90s, as my memory serves, it was like everything made in America, 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 American flags everywhere. Walmart's freaking awesome. Yeah, but that really didn't last too long now, did it? And so Walmart is expanding support for, I guess we're back. Walmart's back to supporting America. Walmart is expanding support for American-made products through new programs to help small businesses the retailers shared exclusively with Axios today. See, Walmart's the good guys again. Forget about the atmosphere of your shopping experience there. They support America, all right? Even though they sold us out for the last 40 years. You don't worry about that, America. All right. So that's the economy. Yeah, we got a Merck plant coming, so we can have domestic drug manufacturing here in America, which is wonderful. And then as we see, China purchasing power parity has overtaken America. And we're spending at record high deficit levels. Even higher than under the Biden administration. So it's all working out for the good now, isn't it? In the golden age of America. At Trump's first 100 days. On to the public health section. And we can't praise this enough. The pandemic agreement by the World Health Organization has been finalized. Let's put that up there. What an achievement. What an achievement for world public health. The UN GA president says, I'm pleased that after 3 years of intense negotiations in Geneva, countries have finalized the #pandemic agreement. This constitutes a global commitment to prevent future pandemics, strengthen health systems, promote health equity, and build a safer, healthier world for present and future generations. As the UNGA General Assembly kicks off the intergovernmental process to prepare for the 2026 high-level meeting on pandemic prevention, preparedness, and response, this agreement will help supercharge our efforts. I look forward to it. I look forward to its official adoption at the World Health Assembly. So, you know what I mean? We're looking good. We're looking good. And of course, the United States has withdrawn from the World Health Organization under the Trump administration, but next guy goes in there, jump right back in the game, and they got the pandemic agreement in place. So something to keep in the back of your mind as we move forward here. Denver says Trump is the globalist Manchurian candidate. You want to buy some hopium, Denver? We're selling it at the Weaponized News store. Trust the plan, buddy. Okay, AI tests diagnoses, more of the AI, diagnoses arthritis in minutes with a 98% accuracy. Wow, your knee hurt? Must be arthritis. No, let's go to this report a little bit more. In a nutshell, says a new AI-powered test can diagnose osteoarthritis, OA, and rheumatoid arthritis, RA, with 98.1% accuracy using just a small sample of joint fluid. The test works quickly by combining a special gold nanoparticle sensor with machine learning, offering faster, cheaper, more precise results than traditional blood tests and imaging scans. Beyond simply diagnosing arthritis, the platform can also assess the severity of rheumatoid arthritis, helping doctors tailor treatments earlier, and more effectively. Well, there you go. Why do you even need a doctor? You've got AI. Do I believe any of this? Call me skeptical. I don't know. You may get in trouble. Maybe AI will ban you for being critical of it. I'm sure that's coming. Okay, on to, hey, Denver. Sounds like you need a brain chip, buddy. You've had a little bit too much to think. So maybe, no, I don't mean to make fun of this. It's tragic. And I did know a guy personally that had Lou Gehrig's disease, or ALS. And it was very sad. It's like your muscles. I don't know if you guys ever knew anybody personally, but his arms are like this. You know what I mean? If you could see, like he couldn't move his wrists, and he was like very, just like his muscles didn't work anymore. And I knew the guy for several years, and he did progressively get worse to where like he looked jacked up when you're walking around with your arms, like with your hands like this, right? Because you can't move your wrist. But anyway, very tragic, very sad. And what the hell? Why are we seeing an increase in ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease diagnoses, and these people essentially crippled from it? Dare I say a miracle? I don't know. I don't know what's causing it, but something is causing this massive increase. It can't just all be genetic, as they tell us. But let's hear it. Now, this poor man, he's benefiting from the brain chip. You know what I mean? So it's hard to take that away from him. But again, it's to pave the way to normalize it. Well, hell, it's helping this crippled guy with ALS. It's friggin' awesome. The Neuralink brain implant. Let's go to the video. It's quite a long one. I don't know if we'll play the whole thing. Probably not. But just to get a sense, his name is Bradford G. Smith, and his handle on the X is ALS Cyborg, i.e. in the title of the show, referencing this man's success with a brain implant, helping him to, he's a nonverbal. So I guess the muscles in his throat, his larynx that allows you to, vibrate and create sound don't work. You know what I mean? So I assume that's what's going on with him. So he says it says in his report, this is right from ALS Cyborg, Bradford G. Smith. He says the first ALS, first nonverbal, I am typing this with my brain. It is my primary communication. Ask me anything. I will answer at least all verified users. Thank you, Elon Musk. Look at this. So how do you not like this, right? So they pull at your heartstrings of sympathy for this poor guy. And you're like, well, Elon Musk isn't a bad guy after all. He was just joking when he wore the Satan suit for Halloween, right? That had the upside down cross and the Baphomet and all that. Oh, he was just kidding. And all his other esoteric occult symbolism all over the place. He was just kidding, right? And he wore that white jacket, remember, at the one of these stupid benefits, the Met Gala, I think it was, that said, New World Order, essentially, in Latin on the back of it. Yeah, he's just trolling, kidding. He's a funny guy that likes to post memes. Anyway, and he's not like the front man for the scientific dictatorship technocracy. You know what I mean? He's helping poor crippled guys that have ALS. Let's go to the report.
I'm the third person in the world to receive the Neuralink brain implant. I'm also the first person with ALS and the first nonverbal, which means that I rely on it for all communication. I am making this video using the brain-computer interface to control the mouse on my MacBook Pro. This is the first video edited with the Neuralink, and maybe the first edited with a BCI. This is my old voice, narrating this video, cloned by AI from recordings before I lost my voice. I want to explain how Neuralink has impacted my life and give you an overview of how it works. I have ALS, a really weird disease that kills the motor neurons that control my muscles, but not affecting my mind. My experience has been pretty interesting, starting with a shoulder injury that would not heal and ending up with my current status. I cannot move anything but my eyes, and I am totally reliant on a ventilator to keep me alive and breathing. My wife, Tiffany, is the best caregiver I could ever imagine. She does everything for me, with only our kids and friends and family to help. She is the key to making Neuralink work. I will stop talking about her because she doesn't like the attention. Before Neuralink, I had to use an eye gaze control computer for all communication. It is a miracle of technology, but it is frustrating. It works best in dark rooms. So I was basically Batman. I was stuck in a dark room. Neuralink lets me go outside and ignore lighting changes. So how does Neuralink work? The implant is in my motor cortex, which is the part of my brain that controls body movement. The actual implant is the size of 5 US quarters in a stack. It replaced the hole in my skull. The threads are placed by a robot just a few millimeters into my brain, avoiding the blood vessels so there is almost no bleeding. It connects to the computer via Bluetooth, and the computer does a lot of processing. This is a feed from the 1024 electrodes in my brain. In green, it looks like the Matrix. This is the raw signal that my brain is giving the computer. The computer has to decide what is important, finding the signal and ignoring the noise. The Neuralink implant embedded in my brain contains 1024 electrodes that capture neuron firings every 15 milliseconds, generating a vast amount of data. AI processes this data on a connected MacBook Pro to decode my intended movements in real time to move the cursor on my screen. Neuralink does not read my deepest thoughts or words I think about. It just reads how I want to move and moves the cursor where I want. How do I train the system? This is how I train the system to interpret my intended movements. I move the cursor to the bubble and hold over it until it disappears. The yellow targets are just for holding over, and the blue targets are for clicking. We initially tried to move my hand to control the cursor, but it was not doing well. After a lot of research and mapping how body movements match the signals from my brain, Neuralink engineers found that my tongue was the best for moving the cursor, and clenching my jaw was best for clicking. So I trained the system with my tongue, and it works much better. I am not actively thinking about my tongue, just like you don't think about your wrist when you move a mouse. I have done a lot of cursor movements in my life. I think my brain has switched over to subconscious control quickly, so I just think about moving the cursor. This is WebGrid. It is the way Neuralink and others use to quantify how well they are able to decode intentions. I click boxes and it measures my score. If I click outside the target, my score goes down. I have reached a top score of 5. My score was less than 1 before Neuralink with eye gaze. You can try WebGrid on Neuralink.com/WebGrid and you can see how fast you are. Tools to make it work. This is the mixer, which has tools to adjust how the cursor behaves. First is bias correction. Because the brain is constantly changing, the cursor drifts over time. So it is like the cursor moves in a random direction. This tool lets me adjust how the cursor drifts. This is a great reason why Neuralink is doing human trials, because the monkeys cannot explain how the cursor drifts. Monkeys just give up when bias gets difficult and want snacks. They are like my children in that way. This is the speed control. It changes the speed that the cursor moves around. Speed also changes across different models and over time. Able-bodied people can adjust the mouse speed dynamically, and I can do that a bit. But the speed control sets the baseline speed for the cursor. I adjust it often. These are friction and smoothing that are more advanced settings that refine cursor movements. They might change as Neuralink develops the system. The last thing is the click stiffness, which adjusts how hard it is to click. Keyboard and parking spot. This is the virtual keyboard developed by Neuralink. I can't move or speak, so I rely on the keyboard for everything. It gives word suggestions for the situation, and it pushes apps out of the way. I do a lot of different things with keyboard shortcuts. So I created a keypad using the Mac accessibility keyboard to make some keystrokes easy to use. Things like select all, copy, paste, undo, and ways to navigate the page are all really useful, and I can use the toolbar and some shortcuts. The other feature I asked for is the parking spot. Sometimes you just want to park the cursor and watch a video. The first 2 participants could use voice commands to pause the cursor. I could not do that, so I asked for a way to park it, so it would only come out when I want it to. I can go to the bottom right, and the cursor jumps into the circle. When I want to get out, I have to hit the dots in a specific order, and it jumps out. When it is in the parking spot, I can watch a show or take a nap without worrying about the cursor. I heard that the other 2 people love this feature. The chat app and communication. The hardest thing about ALS is thinking much faster than I can type. We have created a chat app that uses AI to listen to the conversation and gives me options to say in response. It uses Grok 3 and an AI clone of my old voice to generate options for me to say. It is not perfect, but it keeps me in the conversation and it comes up with some great ideas. My friend asked me for ideas for his girlfriend who loves horses. I chose the option that told him in my voice to get her a bouquet of carrots. What a creative and funny idea. We are also working on a faster way to type with the cursor. The standard keyboard is designed for 2 hands to alternate sides. We found a keyboard designed for a single finger or mouse. But I know the standard keyboard really well. Is it faster to start over and learn a new keyboard? I used Grok AI to make this app to train me on the new keyboard. I don't know how to code, but Grok walked me through it and wrote the code, so I'm really impressed. What does it mean for me? Neuralink has given me freedom, hope, and faster communication. Overall, the whole Neuralink experience has been fantastic. It has improved my life so much. I am so happy to be involved in something big that will help many people. I have enjoyed working hard with interesting people on important questions. I am still trying to get faster at communication. I have spent the past few years with ideas and thoughts that I cannot share because it takes too much time to type it out. I can already communicate faster and in more ways than I could before, and we are still working on ways to get even faster. Like Noland, the first Neuralink recipient, I believe that God has put me in this position to serve others. I have not always understood why God afflicted me with ALS, but with time I am learning to trust His plan for me. I'm a better man because of ALS. I'm a better disciple of Jesus Christ because of ALS. I'm closer to my amazing wife, literally and figuratively because of ALS. I get to work with the brilliant people at Neuralink and do really interesting work, all because of ALS, and because we listened when the Holy Spirit told us to move to Arizona, where Neuralink ended up opening their first site. Don't get me wrong, ALS still really sucks. But I am talking about the big picture. That is what I have learned. God loves me and my family. He has answered our prayers in unexpected ways. He has blessed my kids and our family. So I am learning to trust that God knows what He is doing. The big picture is, I am happy. Tiffany is the greatest person I have ever known, and I get to spend eternity with her. My kids are doing well, especially under the circumstances. And I can control the computer with telepathy. Life is good.
Wow. Yeah, I feel bad for the guy. Quite torturous, can't move or communicate. And this is how they're soft selling the brain implant to us. Quite tragic. Well, Denver, maybe if you took the brain implant, you could see some of those dead birds. Okay, on to HHS Secretary Bobby Kennedy Jr. Talking about the stratospheric aerosol injection program. Let's hear him on Dr. Phil.
My name is Emily, and my biggest concern is the stratospheric aerosol injections that are continuously peppered on us every day. Bromium, aluminum, strontium, it's sprayed in our skies all day long. And I know you've talked to Dane Wigington about this. He seems to be one of the experts in the field.
Is there a question?
Yes. How do we stop it?
That is not happening in my agency. You know, we don't do that. It's done, we think, by DARPA, and a lot of it now is coming out of the jet fuel.
Yes,
so,
sir.
you know, those materials are put in jet fuel. I'm going to do everything in my power to stop it. We're bringing on somebody who's going to think only about that, find out who's doing it, and holding them accountable.
Yes, sir.
We'll see. We shall see. Shall we not? Department of Justice launches inquiry into top medical journals over, I can't even report this, even though it is reported on NBC. I'm not going to report this on the YouTube, so we'll skip that. But according to this report, they're looking into top medical journals over scientific bias. I know, it's shocking. Okay, continuing here. So old Elon Musk and Tesla, as we've reported, not doing good as far as their stock price goes. But Musk says, don't you worry about that, investors, shareholders of Tesla. Musk claims that service and the introduction of humanoid robots that he says will be at work in Tesla car manufacturing plants later this year will make Tesla worth more than the world's next 5 most valuable companies combined. That's his claim. That's his claim. I don't know. Fans of the stock still believe in the future that Musk predicts, even if some are not as optimistic about the timeline. I don't know. That's the claim he's making. So we can bring, I guess they were manufacturing here in America, the battery powered cars for the scientific dictatorship technocracy takeover and full control of your transportation needs. Yeah, I don't know. You're not going to be employing a bunch of people. And we know auto plants are already like the most automated manufacturers. So humanoid robots building your Tesla very soon to make Tesla the world's more valuable than the next 5 most valuable companies, Elon Musk claims. Okay, continuing. Remember the candidates dodging my similar chemtrail Q? And yeah, they were laughing about it. They love breathing in air pollution, essentially, Barry. So yeah, what do you even say to these people? They laugh about air pollution. Are they humans? That begs the question. Were they even humans? Lizards, drones, clones, humanoid robots? I know they were snickering about air pollution, which is I don't really think is a laughing matter, but they were, as proof by Barry's questions at the Canadian debate that we aired, I don't know, it was a week ago, something like this. Very concerning indeed about their mental health. Trump recasts mission of Justice Department Civil Rights Office, prompting exodus. Hundreds of lawyers and other staff members are fleeing the civil rights arm of the Justice Department, an agency that defends constitutional rights. Well, where were they during the last 5 years? Huh? Where? Oh, it was an emergency, so you have no rights. Oh, I understand. Well, great fighters for human dignity and natural law and our human rights, right? Oh, yeah. They're all over all the violations that occurred over the last 5 years, weren't they? No, actually, we didn't hear a peep out of them, did we? So disband the entire Justice Department and all of you resign and go home, and then I would respect you. Short of that, yeah, not really impressed much here. But hundreds of lawyers are quitting. Civil rights lawyers leave en masse. Whoop-de-doo. They didn't do anything anyway to defend our rights. Are we going to miss you? More downsizing, allegedly. Can AI help the UPS? Or no, this isn't UPS, sorry. I thought this was a post office, but this is a private company, right? UPS shipping company says is cutting 20,000 staff and shuttering over 70 facilities. So what's up with UPS and the post office too, right? Allegedly streamlining for more efficient operations, cutting a bunch at the United States Postal Service. But hell, who needs packages shipped when you got drug manufacturing plants by Merck being built, right? So, yeah. UPS plans to slash 20,000 jobs this year as part of a cost-cutting drive amid the shifting global trade landscape triggered by President Donald Trump's tariffs, this article says. I don't know if that's really why. Business Insider, too, shady. Gotta watch Business Insider. But yeah, some is the government and all your I forget even their stupid protest names. The protesters against the government corruption. Are they going to protest this? Are they going to be outraged that UPS is cutting 20,000 jobs? Are they going to feel sad for these people that actually worked a hard job? I have my doubts that they will care. They'll literally laugh. The government will laugh and say, learn to code or whatever nonsense like they've done in the past. They literally laughed in American workers losing their jobs faces and said, learn to code. Remember that? Yeah, I do. But we should have sympathy for them and go protest that your corrupt government jobs being cut. Oh, feign the outrage. So, yeah, not good. Those are decent jobs, I do believe, at UPS. So that's not good. Shuttering over 70 facilities as well. All right. On to, I was mistaken at first. I thought it was the United States Postal Service, but it's the private shipper, UPS, here in America. You know, the brown trucks. Okay. So I will feel bad for these workers because I'm in the real economy, not this fake government-made economy. But government will literally laugh in their face. Okay. On to the geopolitical section. We're already at 2 hours. Let me blast through this. We don't have that much more left, I don't think. So, in the background of Trump's 100 days propaganda going on here, BRICS is still moving forward via Simon, via the Minister of Foreign Affairs from Russia, Sergei Lavrov. Here's the photo. And they are Russia's foreign minister, Sergei Lavrov, takes part in a family photo ceremony together with heads of delegations of the BRICS and partner countries in Rio. Here you go. So, yeah, they're still trying to get it together with BRICS. All of this is going on in the background of Trump's tariffs. So, BRICS is moving forward. Here's the Chinese mission to the UN. They say on April 28th, yesterday, Wang Yi, member of the political bureau of the CPC Central Committee and foreign minister, attended the first phase of the BRICS foreign ministers meeting in Rio de Janeiro. The meeting was chaired by Brazilian Foreign Minister Vieira, and the parties discussed the role of BRICS in promoting peace and security. And so they are still trying to build this alternative economic system outside of the Western international banking system. And who could blame them facing U.S. hegemony, amongst other, and sanctions and outright bombings? So, I mean, who can blame them? Here's another little photo of that meeting. So it's still developing. NATO members committed to defense spending more under President Trump. Yay, they're going to spend more for war. See, we should appreciate that. So here's a little graph about the war spending. Oh, I'm sorry, defense spending. And you can see, indeed, it has increased from some big players there in NATO. Isn't that wonderful? Okay. Are we going to walk away? Should have never been involved in the first place with Ukraine, Russia. Let's hear from the White House. What is up there? It's a back and forth. On again, off again. Can we get them to stop killing each other? Is it any of our business? Honestly, don't think so.
Is optimistic yet realistic about the incredibly complicated and unfortunate situation happening with Ukraine and Russia. First of all, this is Biden's war. It would have never started if President Trump were in office. There is a reason that Putin did not not invade Ukraine when President Trump in the Oval Office, and it's because, again, President Trump leveraged the power of the United States to warn Putin not to do it. And the president has spoken about that in those direct warnings to the Kremlin that he gave in his first term. And then we had a mentally incompetent president in Joe Biden who didn't even know what day it is, never mind knew how to prevent war. And the entire world took advantage of that and took advantage of America's lackluster leadership abroad.
There you go. See, Denver's got it right. So just listen to this cute blonde. She'll guide you. She'll guide you the right direction. There you go. If Trump would have been won in 2020, the war would have never happened. We can never know such a thing, but it is the consistent claim made by Trump. Also, Trump claimed during the campaign that if he was elected, which he has been, we're now in the 100th day of his 47th administration here, that he would end the Russia-Ukraine war in 24 hours. Yet here we are on day 100 talking about just throwing our hands up and walking away from negotiations. Well, let's hear from the comedian himself, old Zelensky. Let's hear what he had to say. He's speaking in his Ukrainian, so we do have to hear the subtitles. We have subtitles. So let's hear a short clip from him, and then we'll hear more from America and a little bit from Putin as we continue to advocate stop killing people. I know that YouTube doesn't like it, but hey, we 100% hate Putin. I don't know what you want, YouTube, and we want both sides to stop killing each other.
От знов, чергова спроба маніпуляцій. Чомусь всі повинні чекати 8 травня. І тільки тоді припиняти вогонь. Щоб забезпечити Путіну тишу на час параду. Ми цінуємо життя людей, а не паради. І саме тому ми вважаємо, світ вважає, що немає причин чекати 8 травня. І вогонь має бути припинений не на кілька днів, щоб потім знов вбивати. Негайне, повне і безумовне припинення вогню. Щонайменше на 30 днів, щоб було гарантовано і надійно. Це те, що може дати основу реальній дипломатії. Ми підтверджуємо цю нашу пропозицію. Залишається також пропозиція Америки. Росія знає, що робити і як відповідати. Припиняти вогонь реально. І ми вважаємо, що тиск світу, тиск Сполучених Штатів Америки може штовхнути Росію до саме такої відповіді, яка потрібна.
Looks like we got an alternative translation here from Denver. He says, we will conquer the Russians. All we need are the weapons of the combined West and all your cocaine. Well, they can have the weapons, but we're keeping the cocaine. Please send cocaine now, then weapons. Well, yeah, well, hey. No, but seriously, it seems that the point of contention now is coming down to Crimea and the Donbass and the, I came from Kirch. Let's take a look at our map if we could see. See, here it is right here. This little area right around here. Kirkva, this right here seems to be the, and then of course there's Crimea, which went to Russia, what, like 10, 12 years ago or something. So this right here and this little area right in here, great farmland, allegedly, is under dispute. And so they're going to have to give some concessions to Russia, or they're not going to have a peace deal. And every time it looks like we're getting somewhere, then there's some kind of something happens. Russia bombs them. They blow up a Russian, Ukraine blows up a Russian general, as we've seen over the last couple of weeks here now. Something happens to throw a monkey wrench into the peace talks. And it's very suspicious that the powers that be out there don't want to make it a smooth and peaceful peace negotiation because some crazy stuff happens right in the midst of it. You know what I'm saying? Sure, it's all just a coincidence, and everybody just wants some peace out of this. I'm sure there are no war profiteers behind keeping this war going. Right? Russia craving buffer zone in North Ukraine. So where would that be? That would be like, I don't know, right up here somewhere. Right up in this region. They want a buffer zone. You could call it demilitarized zone. Call it whatever you want. They're calling it in the Telegraph here a buffer zone. Maybe not a bad idea. Maybe not a bad idea. Here's the State Department. Tammy Bruce. They've been saying this as I continue to report for weeks now. We're just going to walk away because we can't negotiate peace. Well, here they are saying it again. Little Marco told us like 2 weeks ago, in 3 days, if we don't get a peace deal, we're walking away. Really? We're still trying to figure this out.
We are now at a time where concrete proposals need to be delivered by the two parties on how to end this conflict. How we proceed from here is a decision that belongs now to the President. If there is not progress, we will step back as mediators in this process.
Yeah, we'll see. Again, they've been saying it for weeks now. And then you would have to say, well, you failed, State Department, as diplomatic peace negotiators. But hell, as Bob said, I saw in the comment, yeah, it's Biden's fault, right? Let's blame Blinken for this one. All right. Yeah, well, it's being reported that the United States were targeting Sana'a, the capital of Yemen, bombing the hell out of it with a series of air raids. And nobody cares. Nobody cares. Aforementioned, let's play this clip about invisible hands mapping hidden ideologies. Is this the right one? Yeah, I think so. This is from Richard Grove at Grand Theft Auto Podcast. It's a short, so let's see if we can get it to play. Yep. And giving us some more linkage with the invisible hand, the intelligence agency puppeteering all of this genocide and ethnic cleansing.
Under British Israelism, there was a book written in 1934 by Lionel Curtis following the Cecil Rhodes Roundtable called Civitas Dei, City of God. And from that, they had this idea that, you know, if you take over the world, you could just take over the preachers and the ministers and the priests and, you know, the clergy and have a world council of churches. And this would be helping to build the kingdom of God on earth. Right? And this goes into City of Man, and these are written by Rhodes scholars for world democracy. Like this, somebody should probably read this. If you don't think any of this is real, it's like these people, these are all Rhodes scholars that participated in this. And they trickle down to like, this is what Kissinger and Brzezinski followed in the line of, right? Here's Kissinger, here's Brzezinski. So there's a big plan out there for what they're doing. And they've been doing it. And while you've been saying conspiracy theory and not getting paid by the CIA, but doing the CIA's job, there's a real education to be had out there because these things apparently exist and have meaningful and substantial relevance to what is going on in the world today. Because even those origins of British Freemasonry go back to the Bible. Right? Hiram Abiff and all those stories, they go back, way, way back. And what are the symbols of the Mason? Right? Square and compass. What is that used for? people who measure land and make property. You know what 33 is? It's the number of links in the chain that surveyors use, or whatever the length, maybe it's 33 feet because it has to break down to an acre. But the keys are all right there. They're like the rulers behind the rulers, right? Who thought up property and towns and, like, you know, taxes. Is it all coming from Babylon? Because there was also a group of people that were held by the Babylonians. They might have picked up ways of their captors in sort of Stockholm syndrome situation, and then went and brought that to everyone else. I don't know, but you're not going to know until you ask questions and start to look stuff up and learn for yourself. You're not going to attempt to, like, learn everything I learned. Like I did, like, this is each individual thought and question you find in the answer and start mapping it together. And then some thoughts are bigger than others, right? If I go to internationalism, it's a very broad content. But if I go to Joseph Nye, the Rhodes Scholar, much less content, right? He had some influence on Anne Marie Slaughter, who wrote A New World Order. She's in Princeton, Woodrow Wilson School of Foreign Service. You might want to use your literacy and, you know, just reward yourself, you know, reward yourself with some knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. That's my encouragement.
I don't know, Richard Grove. Reading's a conspiracy theory. So, but yeah, a little bit. It's deep, man. And it's been going on a long time. And as he showed you there, a brief insight into all the dots behind the conspiracy. Here is Code Pink, tireless activist, anti-war activist. Medea Benjamin confronts Aardvark minister Ben Gvir in D.C., calling him a racist pig and accusing him of genocide. Shocking, I know. I'm sure she's way up on a list at the State Department. Let's take a look at this video.
You kill baby! You kill baby! You kill baby! You kill baby!
You are a racist pig! You are a war criminal! You are a war criminal! You are a war criminal who spews hatred! You are disgusting! And you destroy my religion! You destroy my religion! With your hatred! You be in The Hague, you are a racist war criminal, and you're hurting my religion. My religion as a Jew. You are creating the anti-Semitism. I never supported 9/11. You support genocide. You're destroying Judaism with your hate. Baby killer, extremist, racist, ethnic cleanser, genocide. Get out of our house. We don't want you here. And you're destroying my religion. You're creating anti-Semitism. Shame on you.
That was a wild video. I don't even know. What does that mean? You support 9/11? You support the 16 of the 19 hijackers that were from Saudi Arabia? Is that what that means? I don't even know what that means, really. Okay. We're already at 2 hours and 17 minutes. Quickly, what else do we got on Aardvark land? As I talked about at the very beginning, a bombshell Aardvark Channel 13 report reveals Biden officials privately admitted they never seriously pushed Aardvark land to halt its 19-month assault on Gaza. God did the state of Aardvark land a favor that Biden was the president during this period. We fought for over a year and no government ever told us no. Former Aardvark ambassador Michael Herzog says, isn't that interesting? He also privately admitted that Bibi purposely dragged the war on to buy time toward the Trump presidency. So Trump could get credit for ending the war. Well, isn't that good of them? Isn't that good of them? Senior U.S. official Ian Goldenberg, no, don't worry about the last name. There's admitted the aardvark's war in Gaza lacks direction. You're just killing and destroying for the sake of killing and destroying, he said. It was also revealed Biden considered giving a speech to politically pressure aardvarks into elections, but ultimately backed off. Biden officials admit aardvarks stalled the U.S.-Saudi peace deal, requiring concessions to Palestinians, hoping to delay, again, until Trump's return. So, yeah. Peace deal, stop killing people, or politics? Politics, way above any type of humanity. Of course. Well, let's hear from everybody's South Carolina Senator, Lindsey Graham, and his, where he says, obviously, aardvark land has won the war on the ground, but they've lost it on the television. And again, Senator Graham, you should know that even the IDF has warned its soldiers to stop posting war crime videos on the interwebs because it's being used against them as evidence of genocide in the International Criminal Court. So, I don't know. It's not really the television, but I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Let's hear from everybody's favorite South Carolina closeted senator, Lindsey Graham.
That scares the hell out of them, and October 7th was designed to stop that. Let me tell you where I think we're at. We're ways away. The attack on Israel, the second largest attack on the Jewish people in the history of the Jewish people since the Holocaust, has been traumatic. The desire to reconcile or live with the Palestinians in any way, shape, or form is a pretty hard sell right now. In the Arab world, Israel's won the war on the ground, but they've lost it on television. You can go anywhere in the Arab world and all they see is morning, noon, and night attacks on the Palestinian people. My promise to the people of Israel and to this region is not to give up. I am very optimistic we will break through, and let me tell you why. There's no other solution. You can destroy Hamas, and we will, but they will come back unless the Palestinians have something to live for and Israel has security to make sure there's no other October 7th. As to Iran, you'll never know peace in this region as long as the Ayatollah and his henchmen have the capability to terrorize the region. So the number one goal for me, above all else, is to neutralize the Iranian nuclear program, to take that threat off the table so we can talk to each other in this region and solve problems for the benefit of the world. As to normalization, I think it's just a matter of time, because what the Arabs want and what Israel wants and what the world wants is to come together in an economic partnership to move forward.
I never heard such a load of BS. And these other two senator clowns next to him. Deneen Dick, and who's that other one? I forget even her stupid name. It's just such BS. No, it's actually in large part coming from completely Gaza being turned into rubble. And again, IDF posting its war crimes, bragging all over the interwebs there. Last report here, and then we'll get out of here. Thank you, everybody, for sticking with me on this 100 days of the Trump administration. Gaza medic detained during deadly aardvark attack released. Red Crescent says. So they are releasing this medic in a gesture of goodwill. See, there's only Hamas, and they're letting go the medics. Even though they bomb the hell out of hospitals, ambulances, and so on. But those are all Hamas terrorists, so hey, collateral damage, as they say. All right, that's all we got for today. Thank you for sticking with me, friends, in the chat. It is much appreciated. And we'll go and close it out here on, let's go over to Odysee. Thank you guys for tuning in on Odysee. Barry, Highland, Jupiter. What do they say? I can't even say it. Okay. Thank you guys for tuning in on the Odysee. The Rumble. Thank you guys for tuning in on the Rumble, keeping the chat lively. As always, the Bitchute. Who's on the Bitchute today? Anybody? Yeah, we have a few people on the Bitchute. Thank you for tuning in on Bitchute. Appreciate it. The Facebook. Thank you for tuning in on Facebook, YouTube, and X. Thank you guys for tuning in on X. I did see one comment come through on the X. Someone said that that exchange was crazy. It was, right? With Ben Gavir and Mia Benjamin. It was pretty crazy. Thank you guys for tuning in on the X, on the Kick, and Twitch. As always, do your own research. Peace, love, and liberty. Speak out and take action. Have a great rest of your Tuesday evening. And we'll see you back here tomorrow on Wednesday edition of Weaponized.